Duncan asked a question that I've been seeing pop up for a while. And it's going to be, gentle listeners, because I'm such a big fan of Percy Ceruti's work. And he's the one that changed my career when I first read about. I had heard of him before, but I really got into his work in 1991 when I found his book, Training with Ceruti. Ceruti recommends deadlift, press, explosive pulls, ab work, and something kind of like a swing, which of course was the foundation of easy strength for me. One of the things he doesn't like is heavy squats. And I came to the same conclusion that he came to, that heavy squats sometimes get in the way of things. So I'm going to answer the question now, but with that as the background for those of you just coming into this question. Can you please tell me why you're not a fan of squatting for runners? First off, even though I was a head track coach and I've coached track my entire life, I always listen to smarter people when it comes to training. Barry Ross told me squatting for sprinters has issues. Percy Ceruti didn't tell me, but I read squatting heavy for distance runners has issues. When I listen to smarter people than me, I go along with what they're saying. Charlie Francis, the great Canadian sprint coach, Ben Johnson did half squats. The issue with squats is that it's one of the easiest exercises to keep loading. But the problem is you can keep adding more and more and more to your squat and drive your squat number up higher and higher and higher. But the problem with track and field, which you'll notice everything we're talking about right in here is track and field, the correlation between higher squat numbers and improvement in track and field is often the bad way, opposite. Your squat went up, but your performance went down. In track and field, when that happens, we stop back, we stare at each other and say, we got to stop doing that. We got to change things. So the reason and please don't say I'm a fan or I'm not a fan. Squatting has its place. It is a fundamental human movement. Every athlete I have does it at some level. I'll have my female cross-country runners goblet squatting with the 12K bell, the 8K bell. The movement's important. We're talking about load. Now, when I talk about load, it's hard for me. So my best squat is 605 for 3. That's pretty good considering I had no knee wraps and I was basically I was in a golf shirt and shorts. But that 605 for 3, that season my throws weren't very good. When I stopped back squatting heavy, my throws went back up. That's one person's experience, the lowest level of logic. I saw a UFO last night. You should believe that there's UFOs. Okay? I stopped squatting heavy, my discus went farther. Those are both the same statement, okay? In logic. So this is a nuanced point, Duncan, so it's difficult for some people to understand nuance. When great minds tell you the same thing, one of our jobs as coaches is to step back and go, I keep hearing this over and over. Let's look into our well of knowledge and see if the same thing happens. It so happens that when I read what Percy said and what Barry said, the same things came up. So I said, okay, for runners, the movement of squatting is heavy. The movement of squatting is important, but not the load. And then he has a last question. Also, when you say runners, do you mean middle and long distance runners or sprinters too? I think I've answered that. Sprinters are different than long distance runners, but I think a lot of things you can learn from Percy Ceruti would carry over into sprinting. And a lot of things you learn from Barry Ross and Charlie Francis would carry over in the long distance. The mentors I use in distance training, Ceruti, Phil Maffetone, and others, you start to get this rhythm that the same truths keep popping up. And that's what I'm all about, Duncan. Where do these same fundamental things keep popping up? Let's pay some attention to them. Thank you. Good question. And I hope that ends this particular question for a while. But as all of us know, I'll be repeating it next week.